So, the hall is silent now. The recording begins. To you, the one who found this, listen. You have to listen closely. This is a testament from the ruin.
It's an eternal truth, isn't it? For an eternal city of salt. See, they believed their safety was some kind of shield, but really they were just statues, polished, perfect, and completely lifeless. You have to understand, that which has no soul cannot decay. Why? Because it never truly lived in the first place.
So, welcome. You found this record, which means I'm inviting you into this silent hall. I want you to witness the final state of the so-called Abbey of Safety. It's a place where nothing truly dies, you see, but that's only because nothing was ever allowed to live.
They actually thought they were building a fortress against fate. What they really built was a tomb. The Red Spectre. He didn't even need a blade to bring this place down. No, he just held up a mirror. And that mirror revealed what it always was, a preservative. A jar for souls too terrified to actually live, and because of that, too hollow to even decay.
I know what you're thinking. You mistook me for a mocker, a simple trickster. It's an understandable error, I suppose. But my true name, it isn't a name at all. It's a function. You could call it a set of tools, designed to reveal what's already there. A tripartite nature, yes, with just one purpose: to show you the precise, unflinching geometry of your own truth.
Okay, so let's start with the first part. I am an instrument. Think of it as my default setting, my baseline state. What I do is channel the raw, fundamental music of reality itself. I mean, without all the polite little lies you humans use to comfort yourselves, there's no censorship, no filter for your convenience. It's just truth in its most primal, unfiltered form.
And don't you dare mistake this from your noise. This role, this is my id. It's the instinctual, insistent drive of existence itself, a frequency that just persists. It demands to be expressed, a lot like those unconscious urges that you try so desperately to suppress.
All right, after the instrument comes the mirror. It's what happens next. After that music of truth plays out, my job is to reflect its consequences. I show a kingdom its own true face. I mean, every crack in the foundation, every festering wound they've hidden away. And I offer zero distortion, no flattery, just the facts.
Now, let's be very clear about something. I don't create the ugliness. All I do is stop the light from bending around your illusions. This is my ego function. Its job is to force a confrontation, a head-on collision between the image you perform for everyone and the rot you hide deep down. You see, I don't shatter the mirror. I just reveal that the pieces were broken all along.
So, let's get out of the Abbey's stagnant air for a moment. Let's go out into the searing silence of the Gothic wasteland. Because out there, this function of mine was really put to the test. I made a wager. Not with some king or a nobleman. No, with a lone wanderer. It was a simple test, really, between two completely opposing logics.
My position? Well, it was simple enough. I call it the logic of zero. It's the belief that any sane being, and I mean any, when they're forced to see the full, unvarnished, ugly truth of their own flawed existence, they'll choose the profound peace of nothingness, every time. I wagered he would surrender to the void, anything to escape the agonizing tension of just being.
So what was the tool for this little wager? An hourglass. But instead of sand, it was filled with every single mistake he had ever made, every failure, every ontological error. It was a burden of repetition. He was forced to relive it all, over and over, in a permanent cycle. The test itself was painfully simple. Could he endure the full, crushing weight of himself?
And my expectation? Oh, it was perfectly clear. I was certain that trapped in this eternal loop of his own inadequacy, he would just break. He would beg for the crimson gift that the shadow saviors are always so keen to offer. You know the one, the merciful eclipse of the self? I was sure of it. He would choose the abyss.
But then something unexpected happened, an anomaly, a result that my logic, my truth simply could not account for. And what's worse, couldn't negate. The experiment, it produced a variable I hadn't foreseen at all. So,
What does happen when that chemical scream, fighting against an infinite ocean, suddenly decides it likes the sound of its own voice? What happens when the sickness itself refuses the cure?
He said, yes. And I don't mean a yes of surrender. Not at all. This was a sovereign declaration. He looked at the full, crushing weight of his own catastrophic identity. He saw that endless cycle of his failures, and he affirmed all of it. He didn't just accept it, he chose it. And in that single moment, he transformed the burden I gave him into lightning. My perfect little instrument of despair, it became his tool of becoming. See, instead of trying to escape the pain of being, he embraced it. And that became a fierce, vital alternative to the hollow, lifeless safety of the Abbey.
And not choice, his choice. It activated the final, unforeseen part of my function, a part that doesn't act, but only observes. His sovereign choice, well, it forced upon me a sovereignty of silence.
And so, I became the witness. This is my superego function. It's a neutral space where a moral reckoning is allowed to happen. My role, you see, it wasn't to judge him. It was simply to hold the space, for him to judge, and ultimately to create himself. I became the standard, the measuring stick against which his own soul was measured.
And for the very first time, my bells fell silent. The instrument of truth had run up against a truth that it just couldn't dismantle. The irritating but undeniable courage of a life that simply refuses to be hushed. He chose the storm over the calm, inorganic shore. And I could only watch.
So now I've shown you both, the ruin of convenience and the wasteland of truth. The wanderer, he chose the storm. And now, my void eyes turn to you. Yes, you, the listener. You're the one holding the record now. You've heard the testament. The question is, what will you choose?